it's Alicia. Welcome to our class today. So I've designed this sequence to honor the divine feminine. So we are going to be working through a combination of poses that are really going to focus on getting in touch with your feminine energy, connecting to the downward flowing energy, opening up in the hips, and just kind of really honoring the feminine divine. So let's go ahead and get started. If you have blocks, go ahead and grab them now. You don't necessarily need them, but I will give a couple options with blocks. So getting started, if you have a block and you want to sit on it, you can sit towards the front of the block. Gently release the pelvis forward, bringing the knees down onto the floor, sitting up nice and straight and tall through the spine, resting the hands down, palms face up, closing the eyes. Start to just focus on the breath. Deep inhales and exhales through the nose. Allowing your inhales to move all the way in through the nose, past the chest, down into the belly. Feeling the belly expand as you inhale and contract as you exhale. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then let's go ahead and bring our hands into our Yoni mudra. So a couple of options here. We'll just start with the fingers and the thumbs pressing like this. And then we're going to bring the middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger in. If you want to interlace the fingers, interlocking them, that's okay too. Either way is fine. We'll bring our mudra right in front of the belly button, right around our sacral region that's associated with feminine energy. So bringing our mudra to the front, relaxing the shoulders down, and continuing to take deep breaths. Begin to lengthen your inhales and exhales. Maybe inhaling to the count of 4 or 5. Taking a brief pause at the top of the breath, and then exhaling to the count of 4 or 5. Couple more breaths. Really focusing on sending that breath all the way down into the belly. Beginning this downward flowing energy, starting right here with the breath, feeling grounded and calm. And let's go ahead and take a couple collective breaths together, inhaling in through the nose, filling the entire body up with as much air as you can, then taking a brief pause, we'll open the mouth and sigh it out. A couple more times, inhale and exhale. One last time, inhale and exhale. All right, releasing our mudra, bringing the hands back to the top of the thighs. If you're sitting on a block, go ahead and gently remove it, setting it off to the side. Bringing the hands back to the thighs, starting to circle the torso, inhaling forward and exhaling to the back, really rounding the spine, getting warmed up here. okay if the sits bones come up off the mat a little bit here. We're really focusing more on releasing the chest forward and rounding it back. Allowing your body to move with the breath, not forcing your breath to align with the body movement. And then we'll reverse this the other direction, still inhaling to the front and exhaling to the back. One more time. Inhale and exhale. All right. Let's work our way over into tabletop position, preparing for cow series. So coming onto the hands and knees, bringing the wrists directly under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips, tops of the ankles pressing into the mat, fingers spread wide, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Inhale, lifting the hips, releasing the belly, looking up with the head. And then exhale, curl the pelvis under, lift the ribs, release the head. Again, inhaling into cow, moving with your own breath. Exhaling into cat. Finishing up. Let's finish on this cat pose. We'll come back towards our tabletop position. And then tuck the toes, bringing the hips up into our downward facing dog. It might be your first downward facing dog of the day. Take it easy on yourself. Inhale up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, one heel down at a time. Releasing some of the tension through the backs of the legs. Other side. Allow the head to hang heavy here. Ears falling in line with the arms. Engaging the abs. One more breath. And then slowly start to walk the hands back towards the feet as we come into our forward fold. Keeping the feet hip distance apart here, allow the upper body to just hang heavy, releasing the hands down to the mat, allowing the head to hang fully, giving your neck a break. You want to take a slight micro bend in the knees here if you're really feeling tight through the backs of the legs and the hamstrings and the calves. Go ahead and just bend a little bit and then gently straighten back into it. Inhaling, taking a slight bend. And then exhale, straightening into the legs. From here, we're going to heel toe the feet out just a little bit wider than hip distance, turning the toes out at a 45-degree angle. And then releasing the hips down towards the mat, coming into our yogi squat. So from here, bringing our hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra, pressing the knees out with the elbows, staying lifted through the chest and the crown of the head. Deep breaths. Relax the shoulders down and away from the ears. Allow yourself to feel this grounding energy in this pose. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, releasing the hands back down to the mat. Moving back into our forward fold for a breath. And then slowly rolling up to standing. All right. Turning towards the side of the mat. We're going to stay at the back of the mat here. bringing the feet together, inhaling the arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers, releasing the pointer fingers, and then squeeze the elbows to the ears. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, let's stretch it over to the left. One more inhale here. And then exhale back to center. We're going to step the left foot out and drop down into our goddess pose. So coming down here, arms up in cactus arms. Again, just allow yourself to feel this grounding, downward flowing energy. If you want to find a little bit of movement here, that's okay. And let's bring our left hand down by the foot. Bring the right arm high. One more breath here. And then back up into our goddess pose. From here, straightening the legs. We're going to adjust the feet so that the left foot is turned towards the front of the mat. Dropping down into our warrior two. If you need to widen your stance a little bit here, you can. Strong arms, relaxed shoulders. Don't allow that left knee to cave forward. We want to keep that open and then keep this back hip from wanting to come forward as well. So opening up through the hips here. Grounding our energy down, opening in the hips. One more breath. And then straightening through that leg. Maybe shortening your stance a little bit if you need to, and then dropping back down into your goddess pose. Releasing the right hand down towards the mat, bringing the left hand high. One more breath here. And then coming back into your goddess, straightening into the legs. Warrior two on the other side, turning the right foot out. Arms come out, bending at the knee. Knee stacking over the ankle, shoulder stacking over the hips. One more breath. And then we'll come back into our goddess for a moment. Stepping the right foot in towards the left. And bringing the arms down. And then inhaling, arms sweep up overhead. Interlace the fingers. Release the pointer fingers. Squeeze the elbows. Engage the core. And then stretching it over to the right. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale, release back to center, hand release the arms. All right, let's take a moment here in our mountain pose. Go ahead and turn towards the front of your mat. I'm going to stay facing you just for a moment. So starting with the ground up, go ahead. Toes can be together, heels slightly apart, or if you want to bring the feet hip distance, that's okay too. Really allowing yourself to ground your energy down in through the feet. If you want to even lift the toes a little bit here to really feel all four corners of the feet down into your mat. Finding a slight upward and external rotation with the quadricep muscles. Engage the core, reaching the tailbone down towards the mat, staying lifted with the chest and the crown of the head. Relax the shoulders down and away from the ears. You can either have the arms down at your side, palms facing forward, or you can bring the hands to heart center, whichever you prefer. We're going to take a couple breaths here in our mountain pose. Maybe even closing the eyes and noticing if you're favoring one leg or the other, if you're further on the front of the feet or the back of the feet. Seeing how balanced you feel here. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. And on our next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up overhead, fingers spread wide. Exhale, fold forward. From here, go ahead and step our right foot back, releasing the knee down to the mat, bringing the hands to the inside of the left foot, heel toe the left foot all the way out to the left edge of the mat. And then as you exhale, allow yourself to come down onto the forearms if that's available for you. If that's a little much and you have your blocks, you can bring your forearms to your blocks as well. Dropping down into our lizard pose. Remembering to breathe while we're in these poses. Our breath will send the signal to the brain, and then the brain will send the signal back to the muscles to relax, that everything's okay. And then we can sink deeper into these stretches, opening up through the hips. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Gently lifting up with the chest, coming back up onto the hands. We're going to heel toe the left foot all the way over by the right hand, allowing the left knee to drop by the left hand, squaring your hips to the mat. So we don't want to be falling over to either side. We're going to come down into our pigeon pose here. Inhale, and then as you exhale, slowly walking the hands forward. If you can come all the way down on your mat, go ahead. Or if you want to stay lifted up on the hands or on the forearms, that's okay too. As women, we tend to store all of our emotions in our hips. So hip opening poses are essential for us to get that release. Couple more breaths here. Gently lifting back up with the chest. Bringing the hands back up. Tuck the back toes under, stepping the left foot back, and then just release the knees down to the mat. So we're going to come into a variation of frog pose here. So bringing the knees wide. I'm not going to have you bring your feet out like we normally would. You can keep them in a little bit at an angle, and then just allow yourself to sit back into this. Now, if you want to have a blanket available to put underneath of your knees for a little bit more comfort, you can. Just allowing yourself to really open up through the front of the hips. And then you can start to come down onto the forearms or all the way down again. So if you're feeling really tight in through the hips, your seat might come up a little bit, and that's okay. If you want to intensify the stretch, try to sit the hips back as far as you can. Again, using our breath here to relax into the posture. One more breath. Slowly starting to lift with the chest, walking the hands back up. Very gently bringing the knees back and tucking the toes, and then stepping that right foot forward this time. Release the left knee down to the mat, bringing the hands to the inside of the right foot, heel toeing that foot all the way out to the right edge of the mat, and then gently coming down onto the forearms into your lizard pose. Inhaling, one more inhale here. Exhale. As you exhale, try to feel the tension in the hips. Just release a little bit more with each exhale. And then slowly starting to lift with the chest coming back up onto the hands. We're going to heel toe that right foot over towards the left hand this time. Releasing the right knee down, squaring the hips, and then gently coming down onto the mat. And then if you want, with exhalation, come forward either onto the forearms or all the way down, allowing yourself to melt down into your pigeon pose. You might notice that one side feels a little bit tighter than the other, and that's okay. For me, this side is feeling a little bit more tight. That just means we have to focus even more on our breath. Inhale. Send that breath into the area where you're feeling the tension. And then as you exhale, allow that space to soften just a little bit more. Couple more breaths here. On your next inhale, we'll start to lift with the chest, coming back up onto the hands, tucking the left toes under, bringing that right leg back. Again, release the knees down to the mat. Coming up onto the knees, we're going to prepare for camel pose, bringing the knees as wide as the hips. You can either have the feet in line with the knees, or if you want to bring the toes together and form a like tripod with the feet, you can. Bringing the hands to our lower back, fingers facing the ground. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine, reaching with the chest and the crown of the head towards the ceiling, squeezing the elbows and the shoulders together. Just take a breath here. And then on your next inhale, we're going to start to just gently press the hips forward, reaching up and back with the chest. So we don't want to just come straight back here. We want to reach up, almost like an arch. And then if it's available to you to release your hands down to the ankles, you can. One more breath. And then tuck the chin, bringing one hand back to the lower back, and then the other hand, and coming up. Release the hands to the mat, bring the knees wide, to the hips back towards the heels, coming down into your extended child's pose. Releasing the forehead to the mat, arms extended out in front of you. Deep breaths here as you inhale, sending that breath into the lower back, feeling the space around the sacrum expand. And then as you exhale, allow the breath to move out through the front of the chest, feeling heavy. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. And then inhale, coming back up with the chest, walking the hands in. We're just going to come on to our feet here. All right. Bringing the legs wide as you want, or as wide as you can. Flexing the feet, staying nice and lifted here with the spine. Inhale. And then as you exhale, leading with the chest and the chin coming forward, hinging at the hips, keeping the spine straight. So we're not rounding into this, staying straight and extended with the spine coming forward with the chest and the chin as far as is comfortable for you. Now again, if you have blocks and you want to rest your head, that's an option. Staying here for a few breaths. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. On our next inhale, we're going to start to sit it back up, walking the hands back and gently bringing the feet together into our bound angle, Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet coming together, keep them out a little bit. So try not to pull the heels all the way in towards the sits bones. Leave them out like a little diamond shaped here, and then take your hands to your feet, placing the thumbs on the arches of your feet. Give yourself a little massage. Staying lifted here with the chest and the crown of the head. Nice straight spine. Inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to do the same thing. Folding forward, keeping a straight spine. Options here. You can keep your hands on your feet. Or if you want to bring the forearms in front of the legs. Again, using your breath to find the comfort in the posture. On your next inhale, let's gently start to lift up with the chest, walking the hands back in. We're going to come into our upright seated angle. So taking your peace sign fingers, grabbing your big toes with each hand, and then one leg at a time or two legs at a time if you are comfortable with this position. We're going to start to extend the legs out and finding our balance here. Staying lifted in the chest, keeping the core engaged. Let's take a couple breaths. One more breath, inhale. And as you exhale, go ahead and release. Bring the feet back in. All right, let's bring our right leg across the left, preparing for half Lord of the Fishes. So, right leg is across the left here. We're going to release the right hand down to the mat beside our sits bones. Inhaling the left arm up. Exhale, twisting it over towards the right, releasing the elbow to the knee, turning the gaze out over towards that right shoulder. If it's in your practice and you want to take a bind here, you can do that. With each inhale, lengthening in the spine. With each exhale, finding a little bit of a deeper twist here, making sure to keep the spine straight. We're not rounding it down. We want to keep as much extension as possible. Breathing. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, releasing the twist. Let's switch sides here. Bringing the left foot across the right side. If you're really tight in your hips, you have the option to keep this right leg extended and just bring the left leg across. But if you can keep both of the knees bent, then do that. As we release the left hand down to the mat, inhaling the right arm up. Exhale, twisting over to the left, turning the head over that left shoulder. Again, option for a bind. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale. And exhale, release. All right. Bringing both of the feet to the mat, keeping the knees bent, grabbing the backs of the thighs, gently rolling down onto your back. Take a moment here if you want to hug the knees into the chest for a moment. Maybe find a gentle rock side to side or front to back, or circling the knees, massaging the lower back on the ground. And then bringing the soles of the feet back to the mat, walking the heels in as close to the sits bones as you can, releasing the hands down, fingers extended towards the heels. On your next inhale, pressing the feet into the mat, lifting up with the hips, moving the chest towards the chin here, coming into our bridge pose. You want to interlace the fingers underneath, rolling the shoulders under, that's an option. Keeping the core engaged here, protecting the lower back. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, releasing the back down onto the mat. Take a breath here. We're going to do that one more time, coming up into our bridge pose. Inhale. Bringing the hips up, engage the core. One more inhale here. And then exhale, release. All right, let's bring the knees back into the chest, giving them a nice good squeeze. Maybe another gentle rock here. Just finding what feels good for you. Countering that lower back stretch that we just did. All right, and then let's bring the soles of the feet together, releasing the legs, the feet down, allowing each knee to fall out to the side, coming into our reclined bound angle. Bringing your arms down beside you, palms facing up. Nice deep breaths in this posture. It's a very vulnerable position to be in. We're opening through the chest and we're opening through the hips. Couple more breaths here. On your next inhale, we'll gently bring the knees back up. And this is where, if you have blocks, please go ahead and grab them. So we're going to come into a supported fish pose. If you don't have blocks, you can go ahead and just do regular fish pose, but I really recommend for relaxation purposes to be able to have your blocks. So our blocks are going to come down on our mat in somewhat of a T position like so. This block is going to be right in between of the shoulder blades. So we don't want it up on the base of the neck, and I don't want it down in the middle of the spine. We want it just right under the thoracic spine here. Slowly start to come down onto your block, making sure that it's nice and straight. And then releasing the head to the block behind you. Allowing the legs to come out in front, arms come down beside you, palms facing up. Use your breath to fully relax into the posture, allowing yourself to feel supported completely by the blocks. Ending our sequence today with this heart opener. Couple more breaths here. If you want, you can stay here for your Shavasana. Or if you want to take a traditional Shavasana, we'll take one more breath here in our supported fish. And then gently rolling over onto the side in order to remove the blocks from underneath of you. Allowing yourself to gently come back down onto the mat. Bringing each foot out to the corner of the mat, allowing the feet to fall out to the side, arms coming down beside you, palms faced up. Closing the eyes, relaxing the facial features, releasing any tension in the forehead, softening the space between the eyes and the eyebrows, unclenching the jaw, releasing the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Notice anywhere in the body where you may be holding on to any tension still. And with each exhale, allow the tension to slowly release, sinking deeper into your relaxation. If you'd like to stay in your Shavasana longer, please feel free. Thank you so much for joining me today for this flow to honor the Divine Feminine. It has been my honor to guide you through your practice. Namaste.